Hi, I'm Mark Mikulich, Technical Product Manager for Small Character Technologies here at Squid Inc. In today's video, we are going to discuss some safety topics regarding our laser systems. Okay, prior to jumping into this video, one thing I'll point out in advance is for a complete list of safety precautions for any of our laser systems, make sure you review our user guide. So whether it's a 10-watt CO2 laser, 30-watt CO2 laser, or a 50-watt fiber laser, make sure you review the full list of precautionary statements in the beginning of the manual. That'll cover everything that we discuss in the video and then some. Okay, so we're really going to discuss three primary topics in the video today regarding safety precautions with our laser systems. The first topic is just PPE. Okay, so protective wear for the individual that's either working on installing the system or working around the laser as it's operating. One of the main items we want to consider when we're working with a laser is laser safety glasses. Okay, each system will come with a pair of safety glasses that is specific to the wavelength that the laser operates at. So this will, naturally protect your eyes from any direct or scattered radiation from the beam itself. We do have several pairs of these in stock as well. We'll put the part numbers to each safety glass type in the bottom of the video here for reference, but it's always a good idea to wear safety glasses when you're installing a laser or working around the laser. Just a good safety precaution to take or safety measure to take. We do have a full list again in our user guide of proper PPE when working with lasers. There are only two different types of laser safety glasses that we carry. We do have one pair that's for our CO2 systems. So this will cover our 10-watt and 30-watt CO2 lasers that operate at a 10,600 nanometer wavelength. This will also cover our 30-watt laser that operates at a 9,300 nanometer wavelength. The only other set we have is specific to our fiber laser, our 50-watt fiber laser. These will cover you for that 1064 nanometer wavelength that the fiber laser operates at. So only two different types. Again, they come with each system. You get one set with each laser that you order, and you can get several more pairs from us if needed. If you think you're going to have several people working in the area of the laser, not a bad idea to carry these and again have them wear those glasses. Okay, our next major topic here regarding safety is the safety interlock of the laser itself. So all of our laser systems have a safety interlock that has to be utilized in order to enable marking in the system. Okay, you can turn the laser on, you can build messages, set up print parameters, all that good stuff, but when it comes time to actually enable marking, we have to be using the safety interlock. Okay, there are four different options for the interlock. 4 different ways you can use it. We have relay to 24 volts, a relay to ground, PNP, and NPN options. If you'd like more details on how to integrate the interlock into your circuits or into your customer's circuits, again, make sure you review our user guide. We've got example scenarios for each input for the safety interlock. So again, make sure you check that out for a better in-depth look at this, okay? But again, we have to utilize a safety interlock in order for the system to function. That goes for all of our lasers. The interlock wiring is the same across all of our systems, okay? Each laser comes with a safety interlock cable, okay? So it'll have a connector that will plug into the laser, and then it's gonna have flying leads on the opposite end that you can use to tie into your circuits. Okay, some of you might be wondering, what's a good way to utilize the safety interlock? What's the most common way the interlock is used? Most of the time, you're going to see the safety interlock tied into a door panel, a shroud, or a hood. Something that is protecting the marking head of the system. And I mean that is it keeps people from accidentally reaching in underneath the marking head while it's active or actively marking. Okay, so a lot of times what we'll see is, with that hood or shroud, a limit switch can be introduced. So when the shroud is covering the system, if the panel is closed, whatever it might be, okay, that switch is closed and the interlock then is being used, the system can mark. Okay, if that hood is removed or that panel is removed for any reason, the switch opens, the system will deactivate marking. So that will help avoid any scenario in which someone might reach in under an actively marking laser. Okay, so all we have here is a limit switch. Again, we don't have a shroud or hood set up right now, but this is a very commonly used item with a shroud that can help utilize that safety interlock. Okay, we'll also power the system on and activate and deactivate marking, with a limit switch to help give you guys a better idea of how this works. So again, in a normal installation or application, there's going to be a shroud or a panel or a door in place. Obviously, we don't have that in the video today, but this will still give you a good idea of how this is going to function. Okay, you'll also see I've got my interlock cable tied into another cable here, so that kind of helps us segue into another primary safety topic, and that's fume extraction. Okay, so this is one of our squid fume extractors. Okay, we have two different models. We have a standard extractor, and then we have an extractor for PVC specific applications. Just about every application, you're going to want a fume extractor installed as well. So the fume extractor will come with an integration cable. We'll discuss that in a little bit. And it also comes with a vacuum line that can be installed near the marking head, so that will capture, again, any fumes or smoke or any debris coming off your product as you mark it. That helps to avoid any of that material, again, smoke, debris, whatever it might be, entering the atmosphere of your production area. And the reason we're kind of segueing to the fume extractor really quick is you'll notice I've got the safety interlock for our laser and the integration cable from our fume extractor tied together. So this gives us a couple of key benefits. One is it guarantees when I turn the laser on, we're utilizing a remote start feature in the fume extractor. So when the laser is turned on, the fume extractor automatically turns on as well. Okay, it just needs to be plugged in. That's all you have to do. Again, if you wire this up correctly, turn the laser on, fume extractor turns on as well. So no one can forget to turn this on, okay? If you're curious as to how this is wired up or how we can integrate these two systems together, make sure you review our user guide. This is spelled out in very good detail. It's all color-coded, pretty straightforward as to how you can do this, okay? For today's video, I've just got a couple wire nuts here tying some of my leads together. Again, just for example, but again, this is a really nice feature. The other benefit to doing this is while we're actively running production, if for some reason the fume extractor fails, let's say maybe a filter just is filled and the system faults out, if the vacuum for some reason in the fume extractor fails in that scenario, it would also deactivate the laser from marking, okay? So we don't run any risk of continuing to mark when we don't have any draw in our extractor system. So again, we won't have any particulates, debris, smoke, whatever it might be, entering the atmosphere of our production area. Okay, so we're actually gonna turn the laser on and kind of show you how this all works. Now, one thing is, in order for me, again, to enable marking, the safety interlock needs to be used, so our limit switch will be closed. Okay, so again, your shroud or your hood on the laser would be closed at this time if we want to actually enable marking. So we'll show you what happens then when this is opened, how the laser reacts, and then I'll also show you what happens, again, if the fume extractor does for some reason fail. Okay, one thing you'll notice too, when I turn the laser on, you will notice the fume extractor again will automatically turn on because we do have these two units tied together. So as we turn power onto the laser, you'll see our fume extractor immediately fires up. Okay, so now our limit switch is also closed, which is representing our shroud or hood over the marking head is closed as well. So we're ready to start marking. Okay, we're working under the assumption we've already got a message created. We're already set up for this production line. So all we have to do is hit start on the system. And because we are utilizing the safety interlock, you'll notice our alarm beacon goes green. We're ready to start marking, okay? Now, if for some reason we are in this mode or at this status. So again, the system can mark right now. If someone were to open up that shroud or that hood or panel, whatever it is, if this switch opens, the system immediately deactivates, okay? So again, it's a really good safety feature. It's very important with lasers and you know, fairly straightforward as to how you can use this. Okay, so again, another scenario that we discussed is if for some reason our fume extractor fails on us, again, maybe it gets plugged, or maybe one of the filters just reaches its full level. So I'm going to replicate the system being blocked off, and you'll see what happens with the laser when we do that. Okay, you'll see when our fume extractor is struggling, we deactivate marking as well, thanks to having the two systems integrated with one another. Okay, so back to the fume extractor, and more specifically fume extractor hose placement. There are a couple benefits of having the fume extractor hose close to our marking head, or as close to the marking head as you can get it. One is, you know, we're going to do a good job of recovering, again, any off-put from our product, whether it be smoke or debris, whatever it is. Okay, so we're going to capture all of that, so we're not introducing anything to the atmosphere. Couple ways you can do that, or a couple common ways you can do that. One is, again, just get the fume extractor hose as close to our laser marking head as possible. The other is if you're, you know, using a shroud or a cover for your system, which is very common, you can just tie that fume extractor hose into the shroud, and that'll help, again, pull any smoke or debris away from the marking head. The other benefit to doing that is we will help keep our main focusing lens very clean, okay? So if we didn't have fume extraction, if we didn't have anything pulling that debris away, it would actually collect on the main focusing lens and get it dirty, which would ultimately sacrifice our marking capabilities or quality. Okay, one other safety feature we can briefly discuss with the system is we do have an emergency stop button on the laser. Okay, now this shouldn't be too much of a concern if the system is integrated properly, if the safety interlock is being used properly. Again, if anyone's trying to access an actively marking laser, it should immediately deactivate if this is being used correctly. But if for some reason you see someone you know, trying to get close to the marking head or access it improperly, or if there are any, you know, potential issues with the system, you do have an emergency stop switch that you can hit to immediately deactivate marking. So we'll show you how that works really quick. It's fairly straightforward. If the system's marking and you punch this button, it will deactivate marking. Okay, so our system is actively in mark mode right now. And again, if for some reason there's an emergency and you need to deactivate the system, we can hit this switch and it will kill the system and also give us an audible alarm. Okay, so again, we've just provided a fairly basic example of how the safety interlock can be utilized and also how the laser and the fume extractor can be tied together. Don't hesitate, again, to review our user guides. They give very good examples of how these things can be wired up. We do even have a specific example for a shroud with a hinge door using a limit switch like we were demonstrating in the video. So again, for more detailed information, don't hesitate to review the user guides. Okay, so that wraps up our video on safety-related topics for our laser systems. Again, with safety items, don't hesitate to review the user guide of any of our laser systems to get more details on safety precautions that can be implemented prior to installing the system or while you're using the system. If you'd like to see more videos on our lasers or any of our other products, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also don't hesitate to head over to squidink.com for even more information on our entire product line. Thank you.